And you are on the platform. And as I said, gosh, and we've talked about the climate change thing today with Trump. Also, an executive order saying America will pull out of the World Health Organization. But one area of, well, I guess cultural warfare where he's come out incredibly strongly is the issue of gender identity and diversity, inclusion and equality and inclusion policies, DEI. And he's just said, no, you're going to get appointed to my administration on merit. And he said there are two genders, male and female. And he has said amazingly clearly, well, let's talk about what he said, because someone who's covered these issues, one of the country's better columnists and commentators, particularly here on the platform, Yvonne van Dongen, joins us now. Yvonne, you've written a new piece looking at the change in the world that we published yesterday. This is a real change from Trump. This is saying the quiet bit out loud.
It's fantastic, and no wonder, really, because when you think about it, the most successful campaign ad he had was the Kamala is for they, then President Trump is for you. So it's logical that, I mean, it worked for him. It would work for politicians here if they could just grasp the nettle. And he put out that executive order, and it's called Defending Women from Gender Ideology Extremism and Restoring Biological Truth to the Federal Government.
And what does it say at its guts, Yvonne?
It's that everything. We're going to get all the pronouns are out, male prisoners are out, and all radical gender ideology, guidance, communications, policies and forms are to be removed. And the thing that actually brought almost tears to my eyes, this is really ridiculous, it shows you how suppressed we've been. It said that, and it said in print, woman means adult human female. And I thought, oh my God, it is so good to see that in print, because we haven't been able to have that as an ad in newspapers here, even though they're supposed to be hemorrhaging money. We haven't been able to have billboards with that dictionary definition of women. We haven't been able to have meetings to discuss this. And here it is in print. So it really was, I was overjoyed. I was overjoyed because the problem came from America, and so the solution's got to come from America.
Yeah, but,
as well.
But in the meantime, the American media and our mainstream media here aren't really reporting much of that. They're saying that Elon Musk has done a sea Kyle.
Yes, that's right. I was waiting for that as well. I thought, but you know what? Who cares? They're losing readers. We're all going to X. We're migrating everywhere else. People know. But it is interesting that they've completely overlooked that, haven't they? Completely overlooked it.
Absolutely, totally. Yeah. And it really is like an alternate universe now, the legacy or the mainstream media universe. So, Yvonne, do you think, though, and it is so clear and so unambiguous and such common sense, two genders, there's males and females. God, tell us something we didn't know. I find it strange to live in a year where that's considered revolutionary.
I know.
But how? It might be that's what America does, but it doesn't change what happens here. And I've noticed that Matt Ducey in the cabinet reshuffle keeps his position as minister responsible for mental health, despite his views on gender identity.
I know. It will take time, but I still think it's a signal that the tide has changed, that things have changed. It's got to make a difference. It will. If not now, at the next election. You know, I mean, I'm sure Winston will pick up more votes on the basis of this. Yeah, they won't. It won't be easy, but it does. It makes a huge difference. A huge difference. I mean, I'm thrilled that they're going to have their passports are going to register biological sex. I mean, we've got to get rid of that. We have to get rid of that.
And in fact, they're saying and you're not going to be allowed to self-identify for legal purposes, are you? Which you can do in New Zealand at present.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And it's not as if we even have a marker saying this is your biological sex, this is the way your ID. You can just flip the switch and change your passport and your birth certificate. You know, repeatedly. It's really bonkers. We really have entered Madville, and this is like coming back to earth. And I do believe that actually ultimately sanity will prevail. It's just going to take time.
Yvonne, how many
You know,
men do we have, or men posing as women in women's prisons in New Zealand, for example?
I don't know. I remember doing a story. It was only a couple, and they were kept away from the women. I don't know that that's a big issue here. I mean, I'd have to look into it again. But I do know that in America there are women who have become pregnant because they've been housed with men who identify as women, and women who say
Well, there's
they've been
another
raped
reason
in
they've become
prison.
pregnant. That's because they've had sex with men.
Yeah, with a man who identifies as a woman. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, that's right. And some of them say they've been raped because these are predatory men. Of course, predatory men are going to say that they're women and then enter the men's prisons. I mean, these people who believe that they won't do that, I think, where are they living? Yeah, so I'm certain it will happen. It just will take time.
All right.
It will take
I
time.
would
It
be
doesn't help.
concerned that people who have got gender dysphoria or identify as something, they might kill themselves because you're being mean to them, Yvonne, and because Donald Trump's being mean to them.
Dirty words, but there's no evidence to say that they do. And there's more evidence to say that once they transition, that people are depressed.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that. That's okay. That's okay.
Well, hang on.
It was always,
Isn't there
it was
the possibility that we become... This is part of a drift towards less tolerance of people who are a little bit different than ourselves or different than the mainstream, Yvonne?
I don't know. This seemed to me to be a manufactured solution to a manufactured problem. I don't think there were any real issues of discrimination or abuse or violence towards trans people, and nothing that these laws would have changed. I really think it was manufactured, the whole thing. So no, I don't think that that'll be the case. Really, there's just no evidence to show
All right.
that we have had, increased violence or discrimination to trans people. And it wasn't even trans people who are really leading this charge, was it? It was a sort of, I don't know who it was, peculiar creatures like Chanel Lal and Labour Party activists. It wasn't really there aren't a huge group of trans people pushing for this. I don't think that's
What
the
could the
case.
government do here to get on board this train, the common sense train?